friends, welcome back to a new video. I want to remind you that your deep belief in yourself is what creates miracles. It's not just visualizing, it's not just having an intention, it's that deep knowing that you got this, that you will find the connection at the right time. You know, when, for example, when you are making a speech, or when you go on to a certain meeting, or when you're meeting that special person of yours, you're like anxious if this will work out, will they accept you or whatever. But what truly creates the most beautiful energy that everybody will feel is that deep sense of knowing that you will find a connection in that exact moment. Connection, I mean, that the right thought will find you, that clarity will take place, you will know what to say. Fear and anxiousness make us feel like our vision gets blurry, and then we don't know which words to say, and then we are afraid of forgetting what we've learned. But I've learned by making these videos for you, I've learned that it's not really memorizing stuff what I need to say to you. It's like trusting that when I'm really in the flow state, when I'm really in the moment, I just know what to say. As Walter Russell said in his book Universal One, well, we have many mosquitoes here. He said, we're slowly transitioning from human sensing into human knowing. And human knowing is a state where you don't hold on to beliefs anymore. You don't hold on to a certain, way of looking at things. Like, this is how I see the world. You find a sense of knowing. And this is the inner transformation. It's not something that somebody tells you or teaches you. It's what happens when you move through life, when you move through experiences, when you allow life to surprise you, when you allow life to break you so it can build you up again and break you once again, and it will build you up again into a greater version of you. When you allow these processes to happen, you notice, well, everything moves in cycles, and each cycle is a period of lessons for you. Sometimes it takes years for us to notice what that certain cycle was teaching us, what it tried to tell us. But that's how we get to knowing. Sure, you can use any practice, any meditation, any spiritual practice or whatever. But what will really take you to the sense of knowing is life, going through experiences. And being perceptive to notice what was actually good for you. When something we say bad happens and we really define it as something negative, but later in life it turns out to be something very, very good and constructive for our evolution, and it actually put us onto a path that's the most fulfilling to us. Like when I've started this YouTube channel, I've actually started making videos with speeches of other great teachers that were my mentors back at that time. And then at some point, I've started receiving copyrights, strikes, and emails from agencies like, I need to remove the content. And I thought, oh, wait, that's a very bad thing. I will lose this YouTube channel. But then I've asked myself what this breakdown is teaching me. And my heart said, well, your time has come. Your time has come. You have a message to share. And when I've noticed, okay, this breakdown actually created a breakthrough that was only visible maybe 2 years later when my work started growing again, or maybe 1 year and a half. Because for 1 year I was making videos with almost no views. when I've stopped making the old videos, because the subscribers were used to the previous content. Obviously, I've changed everything. But it was a rebirth for me. You know, in the alchemy, there are 3 phases of transformation. The first one is Nigredo, the black phase, the dark night of the soul. The second one is Libido, the white phase. The white phase is the phase of purification and renewal. And that was the white phase for me, you know. Firstly, you need to have a breakdown. And breakdown is a sign of a breakthrough. And breakthrough can only be noticed or noticeable or visible later in life. So if you've been through a breakdown and you're like, I think I'm not strong enough to handle this. I think I'm not courageous enough to handle this. You're not right. You just need to find a certain stability in your life. You know, if you take care of your physical body, if you're strengthening it, you know, making it stronger, making it more stable, if you're taking care of your mind, your mindset, learning right things, not over-learning, but finding, you know, as Aristotle would say, the golden mean, which is like somewhere between one extreme and another, being too lazy and being, you know, overworking, over-learning, over-studying. Golden mean is somewhere in between. Finding that golden mean is another challenge of itself, but as long as you're jumping from one extreme to another, it just means your soul is learning to find the golden mean, and it's okay. It's okay, you have a whole lifetime in front of you, and if you're being patient and understanding that right opportunity and right lesson always appears to you when you're ready to see it, to notice it, you will become more perceptive to see that wherever you are right now is exactly where you need to be. And I wanted to give you this message from the universe today. Firstly, believe in yourself so you can get into a state of knowing, because once you know, you understand, even though you are maybe not clear about how events will turn out to be. This is as I mentioned before, the white phase is the phase of purification and renewal. This is the phase where you start adapting new habits, new approach, new mindset, more clarity, more trust. But at the same time, you start making plans for things you already understand. Like, for example, when I've decided that I want to sell my art so I can make some money with it, so I can keep going with my dream, I've noticed, well, I have no idea how will I get to new clients, but I can plan what I already understand, which was I need to create an online store, I need to create some social media accounts, I need to share content, I need to meet new people. Where can I make it happen, or how can I make it happen? That's what I put into a plan. But I have no idea how this will work out, how this will happen. But I had a knowing it will, because I had a goal. When goal is supported with reason, like knowing why you want that goal, and if you include other people into that, like I can inspire other people with my work, well then that goal becomes much more realistic, right? So it means to have a balance between intuition, being intuitive, but at the same time being goal-oriented and having a plan. This is a very tough thing for many people. So for some of you, it may be a bit more tough, a bit more complex. But I've noticed in my life, if you're just planning everything, if you're just setting goals, it's hard to be creative because you're not so spontaneous. And many times when we start exploring our own spirituality, we become more spontaneous, we become more intuitive, and therefore we become less predictive. Like, I don't want to predict my life. I don't want to set goals. I want my intuition to guide me, which is a beautiful thing. But the problem I found out with that attitude, it's not a big problem, but it's a problem because 95% of a day we're still running out of a habit, out of an unconscious program. So even though we say, I will be living my life completely intuitively, we may be living our lives intuitively just 5% of a day. And of course, as we're evolving and becoming more, let's say, conscious, we become more intuitive in different aspects. Like right now, I'm noticing that things I was planning before, I'm now completely open. Like for videos, for topics of the videos, every single day when I wake up or somewhere, like at a certain point in a day, I just feel a certain topic, something I need to share with you. And then I make a video about it. In the past, I was planning these things, and then I've noticed, well, even though I had a plan, I felt inspired for something else. So I said I will open up even more and see what people need. As all this community here is like a bubble of collective consciousness, and if I'm plugged to that bubble, I kind of can notice what maybe some of you need to hear. And that's why so many times I see comments, people saying like, it's like you would be reading my mind. You're saying exactly what I needed to hear and things like that. It's because it's like a pendulum. It's, I call it a positive pendulum here, because pendulum is when certain energy becomes so strong that it becomes like a movement. You start thinking about it, you start feeling it, you start, creating your life around it. And I want to create a pendulum that is supportive for your own research, not for, to making you believe certain things like religion did it, but to make you feel inspired so you can explore your life, like a pendulum of energy that will be driving you into your own research of what speaks to you, where you want to evolve and finding your own talents so you can build skills with them and create a beautiful life that will be filled with meaning, with purpose, and driven by intention. This is it's a kind of disciplined life, because you need to have focus. You can't walk around in brain fog. You need to know firstly how to clear your mind, how to detoxify your body, and then how to start sensing more of why you've been born. You've been born with a reason, and reason is discovered through self-awareness, right? When you become more aware of yourself, you start asking bigger questions like what I truly want to do with my life. And that will lead you into a sense of knowing, as I mentioned at the beginning of this video. Sense of knowing, once again, means you know, right? When you hear yourself, you know yourself. If you don't hear yourself, you can't know yourself. As the ancient saying goes, know thyself. Buddha said to know thyself. To know yourself means to forget everything what you've been told about yourself, and then you will be enlightened by the universe. So, of course, it's very poetic, right? How can I forget everything I've been told about myself? But more practically, it means, doesn't matter what people say to you, what's possible, what's not possible, follow your inner calling. Like, for example, when I started painting, many people said, it's impossible to make a living out of making art. It's impossible to make money with a creative expression. We are living in a world that is, kind of driven by industries, by big companies, by technology, and if you're not part of it, like if you don't find a job, you will not be able to survive. And I said, well, that's their story. I can use technology, I can use everything that is present to promote my art, to actually express myself and help others, right? So that's how I've started letting go of what I've been told, and I've started embodying more of what was speaking to me internally, intuition, inner sound of your vision, isn't it? You have a vision. Your vision is not random. Your goals, your thoughts, like I want to be a millionaire, or I want to be a spiritual leader, I want to be a philosopher, I don't know, I want to be a healer, whatever. Those are not random thoughts. And the visions that you have, like I want to live an abundant life, those are not random thoughts. Those are your your soul thoughts that are coming from your future, where you're already living it, and your job is to fulfill that vision, because that's for what your soul came here, to have this experience. But your soul understands, in order to have this experience, you need to go through certain lessons. And when you go through certain lessons, you notice it's really not about you when you're having these experiences. It's about what you learn, so then you can share it with others. So in one sense, you have a vision for maybe living an abundant lifestyle, just to learn how to get there, so you can then teach others how to bring more abundance into their life. So it's not about luxury, it's about you getting there, right? Because once you get there, you notice it's nothing special. Like, for example, when you buy your dream car, you notice it's just a car. When you move into your, I don't know, dream house, you notice it's just a house. But how you got there is what made you, what built you. And once you understand that, you notice this is a purpose of itself, a path I'm walking, lessons I'm learning, and knowledge I'm receiving. Because knowledge becomes powerful when it comes from a personal experience, not from a book, not from a podcast, but from a personal experience. Sure, all these other sources can help you to understand things better, but what comes from an experience is a moment of enlightenment, isn't it? You now know more than you did before. You don't need to be a scholar to know how life works, but you need to move through life in order to understand it, right? And that is a powerful lesson. If you're lacking faith in yourself, if you're lacking belief in yourself, and you're like, I can't create miracles for myself, well, guess what? You need to learn how to swim. When you throw yourself into an ocean, you need to learn how to swim. You may feel afraid, you may feel anxious, but you will still learn to swim. And it's same with intuition. You can't really trust it if you don't experiment with it. If you don't try to express what you feel and see where it takes you, where you will actually experience a breakthrough and where you will experience a breakdown. And then you reflect on these different events that happened, and you notice that some events where you've actually followed your intuition turned into a breakthrough, while other events where you were forcing yourself into something you hoped that would work, you've experienced a breakdown. And that's how you learn from life. So my friend, your deep belief in yourself is creating miracles. So in other words, you're a source of miracles. If you embody this lucky mindset, lucky perception, which means wherever I go, miracles follow me. Whatever I do, I grow with it, and it grows with me. Whatever I try, I learn something important that later in life will turn into success. With whomever I connect, they evolve because this connection. And however I feel right now is completely okay, because there's something within me that needs to maybe come out onto the surface. Maybe it needs to be expressed, maybe it needs to be done. Write it down and do something about it. Your deep belief in yourself is creating miracles, my friends. You got this. You will make it happen. And when it feels like you don't know what's the right thing to do, sometimes we find ourselves in a situation where we just feel lost, like, being on a crossroad. Should we go to the right? Should we go to the left? Well, close your eyes and ask yourself, what feels the most right? And if you can't find clarity, go for a walk. Disconnect from your mind, go into your body. And once again, ask yourself, what would feel right? If it still doesn't work, go for a run, do a great workout where you will awaken your brain a little bit. And ask yourself once again, because when we're in a state of worry, everything may feel wrong, but when we're in a state of excitement, well, we will not do things that are against us. And that is true. If we want the best for us and for people around us, we will not do things that are against us, because we have a self-respect, right? Honor. And when you have that honor, that reverence for life, for you, for people around you, well, you will do what's best, right? And when you have this kind of integrity in your mind, well, your intuition will take you there. My friends, I hope you found great value in today's video. I'm sending you lots of love, blessings, and power. Thanks to everyone for supporting my art in our store, AttractPassion.com, and it's a store, I Draw My Passion, where you can find all of my paintings. And thanks to everyone for joining our Patreon community, where you can get some exclusive content. See you there, my friends, and till next time, one love.